Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on my show and my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel. You guys have been amazing. So thank you so much for the love and the support of trying to have my own syndicated talk show. So we're going to see how that goes down the road. But right now, you guys are offering great content, great stories to show the world that we do matter and we do contribute to society and we live everyday normal lives just like they do. So today I brought on my show somebody wonderful that I met many years ago in Toronto. She, but she'll let you understand how she identifies when she comes on. Now, I met her many years ago and she was a great entertainer. She moved away and we lost touch for a while and now we're touching base. She has an interesting story that I think can contribute to the LGBT two-spirited community. So I just want you guys to welcome to my show, Julia Jeffries. Hi, how are you,
Hey,
girl?
hey girl, how you doing?
I'm good. I know that was a long intro, but I just want people to understand what the goal is here with the talk show. So I just want to say, I haven't seen you in a long time. You look great.
Thank you.
You look great. So what do you actually, how do you identify? Just so we can get that out of the way.
I am a female illusionist.
Okay.
Yes.
So you, okay, I understand. Now, what are you actually doing now? Are you actually in Moncton, New Brunswick?
No, I performed in Moncton quite a few years ago with the Diamond Divas, but I live here in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Oh, you live in Fredericton. Okay. Now, what's your occupation now? Now that the pandemic is here and a lot of different things are happening around the world, what are you actually doing now?
Well, for the past 12 years, I have been working for Valley Village for the past 12 years to support my family. I have two children, but I'm still getting back into the drag art form because I've been away for so long to raise my kids. So
Hmm.
I had to put it on the back burner to really focus. And now that they've grown and they're growing fast, I thought, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to head back. I'm going to go back to where I belong. So here I am.
Okay. Now, are you married?
We are common law.
Okay, common law. So are you, not that, I just want to understand it, and I want the audience to understand, is it male or female?
Male.
Okay, so you're basically a gay couple raising your two children.
Two children.
Now, this is something that society has always said that gay men can't do. They can't be in a loving, passionate, faithful, loyal relationship and raise children because they think of most gay men as partiers, drug users, and just looking for a good time. Now, what do you say about that?
That's a very, uh, excuse my term, stab in the ass because it's not true. I'm very much of a, I guess, mother sort of father slash figure. My partner is definitely the father figure. We run our home not too tight, but let the children know that they have structure, they have a roof over their head. There's no parties here. We just live a normal life like everybody, and raise our children the best we can. They just finished school. Um, my son just had his little elementary graduation, so that was a little emotional for me, watching him grow and going to move forward. Um, and it's one of those things where you have you, I never thought I'd be a father, and that it shook me a little bit when it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everybody should know in the gay community that it is very possible for you to adopt. It is very possible to become a father and to be successful and watch your children grow and try to break free from that stereotype that a lot of straight families see gay men raising two children.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I
Now,
mean? They have that
yeah.
stereotype that where people are gay men are perverted and we're not. You know what I mean? We want to have a family, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants to have a family. So,
Now, in the last 20 years or so, now a lot of things came up about gay men adopting children in a sense of, and not just that, trying to help out. Remember when they had the thing about the ban on gay men and not letting gay men donate blood? Remember
mhm.
that?
Yeah.
Now they're letting gay men donate blood because I guess they were worried about the STDs or the high risk um, um, situation that they thought most gay men are in. Now, it's a good thing to see that society is now, in some sense, in a small sense, understanding that we do work. We do care about children. We're not, because a lot of the people think that gay men are pedophiles and they're chasing these little children around and all this stuff. And
Mhm.
that's just something that's not true.
That's right.
And now, there's bad apples in every group of people, in
Right.
human beings, period. Now, but it's the great thing about all of this is that the fact that you left Toronto to go back and take care of your responsibility. And that is something I take my hat off to, because not a lot of people would have done that. Now,
Right.
are the two of you, are you happy?
Yes. Um, we have our moments. I mean, every couple has their moments. Whether you fight, but then you make up at the very end. Um, I want to go back what you said before, where I came back to Fredericton. I came back for one reason, and it wasn't just that um, to be with my partner. It was to look after my mother, and
Oh,
it was a hard choice to make to leave Toronto. I have so many fans and friends and colleagues that I've made in those years that I've been there, and it broke my heart. But I came back here, and I'm glad I did because I have a family. It took a long time to adopt these kids, but it was very rewarding, and I'm glad that we did it.
well, you know what? Now that you say that, I tell people this all the time. I miss my parents, both of them. They're in heaven now. I miss them. But you know what? You only have one mother,
Mhm.
and you have to do whatever you have to do to make sure that you stay in your mother's life and she's there for you and you're there for her. It's
Right.
simple. Me, my brother, and sister were with my parents until they were gone. So I am blessed to have at least had that. You are blessed to have that.
Yeah.
So don't have any regrets that you left Toronto. You did the right thing. Now, um, how are your children adjusting to, do they know that you do drag?
Well, yes, they do. The
Okay.
first time my daughter saw me in a dress, she was about, I probably want to say 6. She's now 11 now, and
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a fitting, and I didn't know how well it would look, and she came in and saw me, and looked, and she said, "Papa Bear, you're gorgeous," she said. And I almost cried. So anyway, after that, the next show that I did was at the Hilton Garden Inn, and they both saw me get my face done up, and I did a show at closing at the bar in Moncton. They watched me get it ready, so they're quite aware of that I do this, but they consider me as an actor, not the name drag queen, because
Okay.
that to me, I hate that word, and I know it sounds kind of odd for me to say that, but I do. I think female illusionist sounds so professional and so to the point where that's what
Mhm.
we are.
Well,
We
you
are
know,
an illusion.
yeah, you
And
know, I tell people this all the time. When I was growing up, I never liked being called a drag queen. But then
yeah,
there were certain times I didn't care what people called me as long as I was getting paid, because sometimes you just have to pay the bills. So,
exactly.
but at the end of the day, I realized that I am no drag queen, because first and foremost, drag, in the sense, you need to first and foremost look like a woman. That is the art of drag,
Right.
not a clown, because women don't look like clowns. Yes, some of them are animated and some of them have a lot of plastic surgery, but they don't look like clowns. So, out of respect, when you say female impersonator, it gives you the dignity and the respect that you deserve. Because most people in America think drag queens are just men who puts women's clothes on and prance around and get drunk with beards.
Yep.
And that's not the case.
No.
Now, I am so glad that now you say that the children are doing well adjusting
Yes.
to the drag.
Yes.
Now, when you go, have you ever went to their school in drag and picked them up?
No. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I've never done that. I wouldn't want to traumatize my kids or embarrass
No.
them, so I left it at that. No.
Now, now, so you live in, how is the, how is the gay bars and the gay community in Fredericton? What kind of community are you living in? I mean, as far as the
It's an
drag
up and
and,
it's an up and down. Um, when I came back to Fredericton, there was one gay bar, and there still is one gay bar.
mhm.
And believe it or not, I launched the first drag shows in that bar. I started the drag shows, and I stepped away from that bar only because one of the bar managers decided to censor my music. And I wanted to do that night Sweet Pussy Pauline really bad
Mhm.
because I thought it was going to be funny.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go with a bang. And so I did it to him. I did Short Dick Man. And I said, okay, payback's the bitch. So
Well,
I,
you
I
know, well, you know, in this business, you know, in Toronto, they've tried to censor me for years. The good thing
yeah,
about all of this is that before we really didn't have a choice, but now I have a choice, and I chose not to go back to those places. I'm not going to name any because they know and you know.
yeah,
Now, the good thing about life is this, is that sometimes bar owners are not in tune with the real laws of the world, because um, doing music that you choose to do is called democracy and freedom of expression. And this is something that
exactly.
should not be censored. And second of all, if they are concerned about you doing a certain kind of music or talking a certain way, or they don't like the jokes that you do, they shouldn't hire you, or they should put a sign on the front door that warns the patrons that this show is for adults and explicit language and all this. If you can't take it, then this is not the place for you. Now,
Exactly.
in terms, it's always about the power struggle over the performers. And at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, the performers, regardless, you, me, and the rest of them need to understand the power is actually in our hands. Because without those good entertainers, the bars don't have nothing. Now, it just goes to show you that a lot of the girls, I'm saying this for a reason, a lot of the girls now are out of work, don't have any money, don't have any savings, and we are now going on the fourth month of no income.
Well, that's why I stuck with Value Village, and only because I know it sounds kind of cliche, a thrift store or a drag queen, but believe it or not, they have treated me with so much respect. They have given me the best benefits. I have a retirement plan. I have big coverage for my kids for medical. And without my job that I have right now, we would be stuck. And I'm grateful that I had to step away from drag to have a full-time job to do it now. Because drag the way it is now, you cannot survive.
No.
And if you try, girl, like and that's why I think drag has moved into a different direction where I am not overly fond of. I think drag has lost its beauty and its sparkle, and I think it needs to come back because you're just losing that illusion. When you're on stage, if you're gonna look like that person, look like them. Don't go half-ass and do the show and you expect tons of tips because you're not gonna get it. You know what I mean? But the bar here, girls don't get paid.
Oh my God.
They do not get paid. If you get paid, you make very little at the door. So that's why I moved away from the bar scene and do my own thing. And if I make good cash, I make good cash. If I don't, that's okay. It's publicity.
Now, at the end of the day, the fact that you have 2 children and a husband to take care of and a mortgage, rent, or whatever the situation is, just everyday household essentials that you need to keep your household running. You need to be making money. Now, I don't understand why is it that the girls don't open their own bars? Now, this is the perfect opportunity now that everything is closed, meaning that there will definitely be a changing of the guards. Thank God. We all needed a changing of the guards. Some of these bars needed to close years ago. Some of these queens and girls who have been doing shows for a long time got a real wake-up call this time. And if they survive this, they should come out smarter. Now, like I said, you need to make money for your household. Drag is not free. It's not cheap, and it's not easy. Nope. This is not easy. Nope. People think this is easy. It's not easy.
I want to state the fact that the last show that I did at the Hilton Garden Inn was technically supposed to be my show. Now, it all canceled, and good thing because the pandemic happened. So, that being said, that show cost me and him over close to $2,000 just for the opening show. This business is not cheap. So everybody needs to understand that if you want to look good, you have to be willing to spend the money to look good.
Now, now that things are closed, where do you see Julia Jeffries? What's going to happen with Julia Jeffries, her act, her stage show? What's going to happen with you now?
I think now I'm going to focus on more of a virtual show because what I've been seeing a lot of the girls are doing. And I think that's the best way to go because if you're getting your audience all around the world and they're willing to pay you, I think that's the best way to go because honestly, nobody's going to go to the bars and, spend for drinks and pay for shows when so many people have no jobs right now. Especially the girls themselves, they have no work, so they have to make do. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be focusing on getting my own show launched. I plan on doing just a Judy Garland show. Hopefully next month. That's probably when I'm going to launch it, and then after that, it's going to move it from there.
Okay, now what do you say? Because you know I've seen a lot of this. I warned a lot of the girls already on Facebook. Now, told them try to put your videos on YouTube, because when you're on Facebook, they cut your music off. They let it play for a little while. Soon as it catches in that rhythm thing, the music goes off. So basically, you set your whole living room up as a stage show and you're performing. But then when you go to play the video later on, there's no music.
Yeah.
And a lot of the girls are getting that. So I see less and less of the videos now. Now, so I'm just saying, be careful. Try to put, even when you're doing your shows, save them on your phone or wherever, your computer, and make sure you put them on YouTube. This way you don't have that problem. This way you can just share it to Facebook.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then I probably would do, launch my own show on YouTube and then just show videos on Facebook to show, okay, this is where my show is and you can watch it. And yeah.
Because, to be fair, like I said in many of my videos, sometimes the celebrities don't want to be associated with drag queens that are doing their music.
Yeah.
So we just have to just respect that, or they just want to get paid for their art. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we want to get paid for our art. Now,
right.
What do you say to people out there that let's say, how do the people in your neighborhood treat you? Do they know that you and your partner have two children, and what do the neighbors think? Or what, I mean, not that you should be worried about that, but I'm sure two men with two young children, people are thinking.
Well, we usually keep our lives to ourselves, only in respect because of his job and what he does. And the way I run my life, I keep my private life away from my show life. I've always had that motto. I've never went out of that. So my personal life outside of drag stays personal. My show life is my show life. And I keep those balances separate. And only because of my children, I don't want them to be teased. But unfortunately, my daughter was teased in most school because a lot of kids tease her because she has two dads. So, and that's something really hard to hear, to watch the emotions of my daughter and tell her, it's okay. Like, it's okay to love is love. And if you love somebody, you know what I mean? That's who you should be with, whether it's a man or a woman. And we tell both of our kids that it's okay, love who you love. Well, and that's our support to you guys.
Well, it's a good thing that you guys are standing strong, because it takes a strong set of values to raise children, and mainly in our lifestyle, and us being just two partnered. We're two males raising two children that we care about and that are ours. And we do work every day. We do make sure that they're fed. We look after their safety. We make sure we have family time together. We talk when there's an issue. But as they get older, we will have more challenges. As children get older, they have a few more challenges that will be coming. Now, what have you ran across any real opposition in Fredericton?
There has been a couple. I was to be in another movie, and I turned it down only because of my kids. Again, like when my kids came about, I had to put everything on hold. And it was the hardest decision I ever had to make in my life, because performing has been in my blood since I was a toddler. And to pause it, it's like taking the breath out of you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so when my kids became of age, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to go back. And because it's where I belong. It makes me the happiest person when I'm on stage. And I'm very grateful in my life that I've met all the girls have in Toronto who have guided me to who I am today. Because if it was for them, this wouldn't be. It would never be. And I'm grateful, from my drag mother, Kristen Jeffries, Terry Stevens, you, Chris Edwards, Michelle Ross, all the girls, all the greats that have molded me to who I am and who gave me the opportunity. As for Fredericton, I think entertainment here is very hard. Whether you're a vocalist, whether you are a dancer, whether you are a musician, drag entertainer is very hard here, because entertainment is not its bread and butter here anymore. So wherever you get the opportunity, you take it.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to the children just for a minute. Now, are your children, so you adopted children?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now,
Yes.
so you say is your mother still around?
Yes, my mother is still around.
Okay.
At the time when I came back here, my mother was leaving my father, and that was a hard thing to grasp. So after I came back to Fredericton, I moved in with my partner, and then about a year, 2 years later, my grandfather passed away. And the same year, so did my father. So right now, I just have my mother and my brother and my family to survive, I guess.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up shortly, but I just want to ask you just a couple of more questions, because I find it really intriguing, and you've been wonderful sharing your story. What is a typical day like for Julia Jeffries, her children, and her partner? What is a typical day like?
Oh my God, hectic. Hectic. Mike, okay. Normally we get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, usually me. Walk the dog. Come home, make the kids lunches, then get ready for work. We both go to work. We drop off the kids at the YMCA so they can be looked after there while we're at work. Pick them up, bring them home, feed them. Some of them need a bath or a shower, get ready for bed, brush teeth, repeat all over again. And in the school, it's the same thing. So that's roughly.
So do you ever have any time for just you and your man?
No. No, there's no time. Like when you're a parent, girl, under this wig, I'm full of gray hair. Like I have more gray hair than I can shake a stick at. But
well, listen, the end of the month, I will be almost 60 years old. So who would have?
Really?
Yes, ma'am. The June 30th is coming quick.
Oh, girl.
And
that
thank
old age
God I shaved
coming
off.
in.
Thank God I shaved all my gray off, but this grew back in real quick. It grew in like in about 2 days. I don't know how, and I it was a great pleasure meeting you. I've met your mother many times. She came to see the return of my show at the Drink in Toronto, and she's just always been inspirational, and I just love watching her because she's professional, and the fact that she has something to say when she's performing, and that is something that us as performers, drag performers, female impersonators, female illusionists have to have in this business. You have to have a voice. And
Yes.
we need to use that voice for good to make sure that people understand that they just can't throw us under the bus and treat us all kinds of ways. Now, we know that in Toronto, they're having lots of protests. Thank God they've all been pretty much peaceful here, and things have kind of died down a little bit. And we know things won't go back to the way they were for a long time. But we
Yes.
hope um, that somehow this has made people aware of something that's been going on far too long
Yes.
and that had to be dealt with. So hopefully something good will come out of all this, because it's great seeing the young people out and about trying to make change, something we have been doing for decades, trying to
Yes.
make change and strive, and not realizing that in our own community, if it wasn't for the drag queens, drag performers, illusionists, transsexuals, cross-dressers, or whatever the pronoun may be, the gay community would not have a lot of the liberties that they have today.
I think
So,
honestly, with the gay community, the hearts need to be open a little more. I find that most of, I'm not saying all, but I'm saying most of the gay community are being very standoffish with other minorities that are gay. You know what I mean? Whether you're black, Asian, whatever, you you have to have an open heart, and you have to. We're known for people. We're known to be lovable. That's what we are. We're known to be lovable, right? And drag queens are educators. That's what we are. We're educators, you know, and we guide people along the way who are starting the business, and we push them along, you know, teach them a little bit of ropes and push them along to the next one. But you are right. The LGBT needs to um, be more accepting to one another and more
mhm.
kind. And that's
You
what I would
know,
like to see.
yeah, I say this all the time, is that now that the pandemic has hit, and now we're having the protests and all this stuff, maybe in a small way, maybe this is what we needed for change. It
Yeah.
might, a lot of people have died and we're hurt from a lot of our friends, but sometimes these kind of things can clear a path for better things for us. We hope, because like you said, a lot of the LGBT two-spirited community would not have a lot of the liberties that they have today if it wasn't for the drag queens pushing, taking the blunt of it all, moving
Yeah.
it forward, keeping it going. And still to this day, we're taking the blunt of it all. We're still constantly entertaining them. We still raise money to help them. We still do so much, and yet we're still so disrespected. And it's a shame that our own community victimized us for just being entertainers. But at the end of the day, I hope the girls have learned something from all of this, that value your talent, value your art, help the other queens along or the other performers along, so that way all of us can make a difference. But at the end of the day, if they're making money, you're making money. You don't give away your talent for free. There's nobody seeking
Exactly.
that much attention that you need to give your talent away for free. Because without that drag show, that bar wouldn't be making no money.
Mm-hmm.
So these
And then
girls,
that,
so hopefully they will wake up. So I say this to you, Julia Jeffries. I take my hat off to you, your boyfriend, and your husband, for having the courage to raise two children in this tough times. I take my hat off to you for keeping up the good fight and keeping the female illusion going in Fredericton, small towns, keeping up the fight, making it look good, keeping us in the forefront regardless of what we face every day. You keep entertaining, you keep raising money to help others. yet you're still doing the good fight. You understand that you need a job during the day to make sure things are okay at home. This is reality. And straight people and just the world in general needs to understand that gay people do contribute. We ain't partying all the time. Yes, we do party, and we like a good party every now and then, or a lot of the time, but we do contribute to society. And I take my hat off to you, girl. So congratulations on your relationship. Um, I just want to say it's been a pleasure meeting you, and you still look beautiful. I ain't seen you in how many years?
Oh my God, I was in my early 20s and I'm
Oh
42
my
now.
God. Yeah, girl, I'm almost 60, you know. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, but it was great.
I'm fermented.
Oh. Well, it was great talking to you. So thank you.
You
If
too.
you want to, what would you like to say to our audience at the end of the day? Some good advice from a person who just is living the normal Canadian dream. We just, I wouldn't say Canadian dream. I'm just saying, just doing what's right by you and your family.
Never take life for granted. It goes by in an instant. Treasure what you have, no matter how big or small it is. Just treasure it. And good things come to those who wait at the very end. And my treasure are my kids. Those are my gift. That I couldn't believe that actually came into our lives, because it's a challenge every day. One or the other, they're a challenge. And, having a boy and a girl, and they fight all the time, but I love them to death. That's something I would tell every person out there: treasure your life, because you only have one life to live, and take one moment like it's your last.
There you go. Thank you, Julia Jeffries.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the show today, I had the fabulous, the incredible Miss Julia Jeffries from Fredericton, New Brunswick. And her story was very enlightening today. She's married, 2 wonderful children. She has a steady job during this pandemic time, and she's just making a difference and doing what we're all doing every day, just trying to live, trying to survive, and just do the right thing. So be kind to each other, people. We need each other, love each other, and just understand at the end of the day that we're human beings. And like she said, live every day to the fullest. Okay, so until next time here on the Stephanie Stevens Show, thank you, Julia Jeffries, and thank you, everybody out there. We will talk to you again soon. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.